Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be doing part 5 to the very popular story, which is titled, Man Leaves Cheating Wife in Hotel with Nothing But Her Bra, but that discovery was only the beginning. And guys, that story, let me tell you, is quite a popular one. I know a lot of you guys have been very eager to find out what happens next. And according to this guy, this will be the final update, part 5 here, but then again, we've all heard that song and dance before. And you're going to see this is when this guy finds the leverage to kick his wife out, because you all recall she won't leave the house. Now, since you guys have been all following this from day one, I'm not going to go through a big recap because you all know what happens. And if you're new to this, just go to the description. You'll see parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can follow accordingly and catch up here. So, catching up, he says here, hello SSM. Thanks for running my previous posts. This will be my final update. We'll see. Ellie finally gave me the ammunition to get her out of my house and on the road to divorce. Awesome, bro. Hopefully, how that happened you will find interesting and valuable enough to share with your community. I've received helpful information and support from you and your viewers. That's why we're here. It's a community. It's really invaluable in help and support. I'm glad my father insisted that I watch your videos. As a quick refresh, I'm Phil, 35 years old. My wife is Ellie, and her twin sister is Karen. They are both 34 years old. Karen's husband is Ken, 36, and about a month ago, I discovered Ellie at a business conference with her longtime lover, one of the many lovers over the years. I also discovered that she and her twin were trading husbands for nights of SCX with each other's sister's husband. Can't make this shit up, huh, guys? They did this at least a dozen times over the years. They just didn't bother to tell Ken or me or ask our permission. They enjoy playing games, and they're still playing games, and they will always play games. I've been spending a lot of time with my father, and he's watched the 4 videos that SSM posted about Ellie, Karen, Ken, and me. His only comments were that it's worse than he thought. Also, I should be glad that I found out about Ellie now and not wasted another 10 years or more with her. I'm still young, and I told him that it doesn't make things easier. He also divorced a cheating wife, my mother. He says it does get better with time. Well, all these stories I hear, the guys come back later on and say it does get better with time. But you got to go through a lot of healing, particularly once you finally get her ass out of the house. But your old man's here for you, so, stick with him. My dad asked me if I wanted to keep the townhouse that Ellie and I own together. I said I didn't have the money to buy Ellie out, so we have to sell it. But do I want to keep it? I said if I could, yeah. He said he'll loan me the money to buy Ellie out. He's not going to gift me the money. There's a better way than paying a gift tax. He can loan me the money at 1% interest per year. A 30-year loan with a balloon at the end, so interest only until then. When he dies, the loan will be forgiven, and it won't be enough for the inheritance tax to kick in. There you go. Work smart. He thinks the townhouse is a good investment for me, and great news, thanks to Dad, now I just got to get Ellie out of the house. Well, shout out to your dad for helping you out. That's awesome. My father and I have talked a lot about my biological daughter. This is the daughter that I had with Ellie's sister Karen, who I impregnated without knowing it was Karen. I just found out that she's my daughter. My father has started a college fund for her, which we'll both contribute to. We both like a relationship with her. I won't marry again, so my father sees her as the only grandchild he'll ever have. Never say never, dude. I'm sure you're at this point saying there's no way I'd get married again. But we've all heard that song and dance from people before. I'm hoping at the very least you'll learn a hell of a lot from this experience and my channel and other channels, that if you do get married one day, believe me, you will be ready to go and armed and dangerous with this knowledge. With an ironclad prenup. It says here, until my relationship with Ken improves, neither my father and I will have contact with her. My father told me that I should have recommended Ken watch SSM as well. I should have. It would have helped him get through all this that he's facing. Poor guy. More on to Ken later. Yeah, Ken definitely needs my work, or somebody like my work. I'm not for everybody. People tend to either, well, I'll be honest here, either really like me or really hate me. A lot of people don't like how blunt I am. The best investment I ever made is putting a camera in my home. I don't care if you believe you have the most faithful wife in the history of the world, put in a camera. In my case, when you're married to the most unfaithful wife in the history of the world, Ellie, a camera can literally save you. Just make sure that it's legal in your state if you intend to use the video. He says here, now on to the story. Ellie finally effed up, and I'm going to get my divorce now. Excellent. Ellie has refused to divorce me. She wants to reconcile. She's living in our townhouse with me. She and I own the townhouse together. Ken is also going to divorce Karen. He's adamant about divorcing since he found out that he's not the father of his 3-year-old daughter. That poor guy. It's bad enough his wife is a cheater and hooking up with you, but then he finds out his daughter, 3 years old, you know he loves unconditionally, is not his. It's terrible. And these bitches don't give a shit. I am her biological father, but he loves the girl. She's been his daughter for 3 years. He's not going to give her up, nor should he. No, he shouldn't have to. Both Karen and Ellie were living with me after Ken threw Karen out. I figured out how to get Karen out of my house. She signed a document confessing to the criminal behavior both by her and Ellie. Karen sleeping with me and Ellie sleeping with Ken while pretending to be our wives. I threatened Karen with criminal prosecution, so she moved back in with Ken. Ken allowed her back in the house as a housekeeper and nanny. This threat didn't work to get Ellie out of my house, though. Well, Ellie's the attorney, and Ellie likes to, as he said in previous videos, likes to play the I'm going to sue you for anything card. So she's not going to back down so easy. She's obviously the dominant sister. There's always with twins, there's always a dominant one. That's where we've been the last weeks. Ellie living in our house, refusing to leave or cooperate in our divorce. Ken is proceeding with his divorce from Karen, while Karen wants to reconcile and is living in their house. Ellie, acting as Karen's attorney, is doing what she can to delay the divorce as well. Karen wants to reconcile with Ken. Good luck, Karen. Ellie and Karen swapped husbands for years. I never knew. I'm positive that Ken didn't know either. He didn't know. People in the comments have asked how we couldn't know. I thought about that a lot. Ellie told me they swapped boyfriends in high school and in college. I never thought they would do that with their husbands. Smack! I can't believe you knew they did that bullshit when they were younger and still married her. I mean, dude, come on here. You think that shows her character. But then again, you were younger. You didn't know. I know you know now, but seriously. You, guys, if you spend enough time with somebody and let them talk, they'll tell you who they are, and pay attention to that, really. I had no reason to believe that Ellie was cheating on me until I caught her in Santa Fe with her lover. The swapping ended after Karen became pregnant with her first child. That child is also my child. She said she knew it couldn't continue after she gave birth. Karen would have a mom body. Before that, it was always difficult to tell them apart. They are identical twins. Well, I gotta wonder if one is a little more snug down south, if you will. There's an area to tell. I mean, think about it. He had two twins, two twin guys. Do you think both twin guys have the same exact length and girth of their you-know-what down there? I'm guessing not. Fuck, I don't know. Looking back, I had clues, but I didn't think much about it. Ellie was never modest about her body, but there were times when she wanted the lights off before she got in bed with me. I just assumed she was feeling unattractive and wanted it dark. I didn't care either way. No big deal. Other times, Ellie didn't seem to remember stuff that she should have. Curious, but not earth-shaking. There were times when our lovemaking felt off. Things were somewhat different, but there was nothing crazy. I'm sure Ellie and Karen compared notes about me and Ken just like they did with their boyfriends. Again, I had no reason to believe that Ellie was cheating on me, let alone swapping husbands with her sister. Some things you just can't even imagine. Were these the times when it was Karen I was sleeping with or not Ellie? Who knows? Also, people commented that Ellie and Karen must have said they deceived their husbands sometimes in the videos recorded by my cameras. Two things. No one disputes that Ellie and Karen switched husbands and did it several times. The uncertainty is if they knew I was sleeping with Karen and not Ellie when they did this. If I did know it was Karen, then they didn't break the law, at least as far as it concerns me. I don't know about any of this, but it's their word against mine. I looked back over the video feed, and when they talk about switching husbands, there's nothing definitive where they decisively state that I didn't know. There's nothing they say that they can't claim was a joke or that they lied about me not knowing because I didn't want Ken to know that I knew. They say they lied about me not knowing because they wanted to protect me from Ken. Yeah, I'm sure your best interest was exactly what they were thinking about first. I have a document signed by Karen saying that I was deceived. That worked to get Karen out of my house. It didn't work to get Ellie out of the townhouse and on the road to divorce. Again, it's their word against mine. Yeah, and who is an authority figure really going to believe first? Let's be honest here. It's bullshit, but it's the truth. Ken believes I knew about the wife switching all the time. Get the fuck out of here. I think they're hinting to him that I knew. They want to drive a wedge between us, sluts stick together, they want to divide their husbands. That's exactly what's going on, divide and conquer. And this guy is so messed up right now that he'll be quick to anger for anything. One other thing that was brought up in the comments, I was asked if I've told Ellie's parents about her and Ken's infidelity. I haven't because it is a complete waste of time, and here's why. Now listen to this part about her parents, and this is going to give you a big clue as to why she and her sister are the way they are based on how the parents are. And again, why I tell you relationship guys, get to know your girl's family. Observe the dynamics between the parents and everyone. And that will show you what your life is going to be and why your girlfriend is the way she is. Very important what you're about to hear. Ellie's parents are local. Ellie and Karen grew up here. I met them when Ellie and I started dating seriously. I was invited to dinner one night. Ellie's father greeted me like I was a neighbor that he might wave at or he might occasionally talk to about the weather with. No interest in me at all. Ellie's mother was all dressed up as if she was going out. Ellie, her father, and I were in shorts and t-shirts. So, I'm willing to bet you that it's just the dad is so used to Ellie bringing home guys, it's just like, well, here's another one. At dinner, Ellie's mother didn't eat. She just had a glass of wine. Her mother talked about how proud she was of Ellie. She was a lawyer, had a real profession. She also thought Ellie would marry a doctor or a lawyer. A profession like Ellie. She asked me what I do. I said I work for my father. Her mother asked if I had any ambition besides just being someone's employee. There you go. Nobody's good enough except for my little girl. Right there already. And by the way, you work for your old man. If I'm not mistaken, your dad owns a big company, which one day you'll be running and owning. So that's a good thing. Didn't I want to do something more interesting in my life? Her daughter deserves more from a husband. So already that Ellie and her sister Karen, especially Ellie, has had it put in her head that she's amazing, so special, deserves the world. And they certainly act like that, don't they? Fortunately, we were interrupted by the doorbell ringing. Ellie's father got up and went to the den and turned on the TV. He didn't finish dinner. Didn't say anything. Just started watching TV. I'd never seen anything like that before. Ellie went to the door. In came a man about her parents' age, all dressed up to go out. Ellie introduced him to me as Uncle Fred. Ellie's mother got up and headed to the door with Uncle Fred. She yelled to her husband, "Don't wait up, honey." Ellie's father didn't look at her or say anything. When Ellie's mother and Uncle Fred were gone, her father came back to the table and we finished dinner. Well, that's an awkward situation. Clearly, Uncle Fred isn't the mother's brother. I asked about Uncle Fred again on the drive home. Ellie said he's not a real uncle. He's her mother's boyfriend. Open marriage, huh? So already mom's a cheater. And the dad's not too happy about it. But he goes along with it anyway because he's weak. What does that show to the daughters about loyalty and love and commitment? See? You pay attention to the family, guys. They've been seeing each other since before Ellie could remember. Years, long weekends, vacations together, dates, etc. Fred was ready to go anywhere. My mother always paid. Ellie said her parents used to fight about that. Ellie's father was upset that he's working so Ellie's mother could pay for Uncle Fred. So not only is she cheating with this other guy, she's paying for everything, his money. This guy's the dad is a weak bitch for allowing this. I asked why her father doesn't divorce her mother. She said her mother wants to remain married. Well, tough shit, honey. Uncle Fred doesn't have the money her father does. He's not going to marry her. Her mother wants to keep her current lifestyle. Why does her father put up with this? Ellie thinks her mother has something on her father. He's got a job with a sensitive security clearance. If she does have something on him, he could lose his security clearance and his job. I looked at Ellie waiting for her to tell me she's kidding, and Ellie shrugged. See? You start connecting the dots here, guys. This makes sense for their attitude. I'm not saying they're blameless because their mother was a bad role model. No, she and her sister are awful people and they're responsible for their own actions. They're adults, but you can see where this comes from. I'm convinced now that you think you're marrying your fiancé, but you're really marrying her mother. You just don't know it. Yeah, I knew about her parents before I married Ellie. I should have run for the hills. You're damn right, man, but I'm glad you can admit it, and you sharing this will help some guys out there know to watch the families of the girl they're with. Anyhow, let's get back to Ellie's F-up. My job is not 9 to 5. I stay at work late a lot. It was late last Monday night when I watched the video from my camera. Ellie was cooking but talking to Karen on her cell phone. She had her cell on the counter and was talking with the speaker on while she fixed dinner. Karen was crying. Of course she was. She told Ellie that Ken, her husband, is dating one of his co-workers. Ellie asked how Karen knew that. Karen said he's been coming home from work, showering and dressing up and going out. When Karen asks him where he's going and when he'll be home, he tells her it's none of her business. Ellie asked Karen what she knew about the co-worker. Was she married? Karen says she looked at his phone to see who it was. She remembers meeting her at a work function. Karen thinks that co-worker was with her husband, but it was a while ago. Ellie said that Karen should try to find out if she's still married. Hang on. Ellie said that Karen should try to find out if she's still married. Okay. Ellie asked why Karen wanted to tell her that. Karen said that when she got home from work just now, he told me he's planning to bring a guest home to spend the night on Friday. He wouldn't answer any questions. He just told me to take the kids to his parents Friday to stay overnight with them. He told Karen she should stay with Ellie for the night or stay in her room. So, Ken is getting some payback dating, but he's a dumbass because he's dating some chick he works with. That puts him in a bad position. He's in the shower now. Karen has his phone and is looking at his texts. You see, they've been seeing each other almost every night for the last 10 days or so. Ellie told Karen that if she sees a text saying anything about her having a husband. Karen said no, and she didn't see anything about a husband. She's just looking forward to a fun time Friday. Ellie said that he's crazy to date a coworker. Ellie did once and almost didn't survive it, but it's probably nothing serious with Ken's coworker. It'll fade on its own. If they're seeing each other every freaking day and they're coworkers, yes, it will fade. Karen said the text showed that it's pretty serious. Ellie said to find out what the company policy is on employees, especially married employees, dating coworkers. Remember, Ellie's the lawyer here, and Ellie's looking for dirt and leverage on Ken. It says here, Ellie said to find out what is the company policy on employees, especially married employees, dating coworkers. Company policy may be online. If not, call the HR and ask. Karen doesn't have to identify herself, just ask what the company policy is on married employees having affairs with coworkers, and they may tell her. Karen said the woman works in Ken's department. Is he her boss? Karen said she's not sure. She thinks she reports to someone who reports to Ken. Ellie said he's her boss, but once removed. No company tolerates those relationships. Will threaten him with exposure unless he breaks it off. There you go. Ken set himself up to be blackmailed. They got leverage on him. And remember, Karen doesn't want a divorce. Karen said the shower stopped and she had to get out of Ken's bedroom. Hold on. When Karen could talk again, she said that Ken's going to hate her even more if she threatens him. Ellie said Karen can wait and see if the relationship ends on its own. It probably will. But find out the company policy. Karen can use it down the road if Ken's relationship with a coworker becomes more serious. Regardless, they may be able to threaten Ken with exposure at work and if he went ahead with the divorce plans. There you go. Ellie's not dumb. Find out the company policies. Ellie told Karen they had options now, and Karen said she felt better. Thank you. Karen asked what happened when Ellie dated a coworker. Did it become a problem at Ellie's work? Ellie said sort of. Ellie asked Karen if she remembered Ellie talking about a guy named Don. Karen said vaguely. Karen said Don and her were working on a case together, and they had to go out of town to depose the litigants in the case. They were alone together and started to hook up while they were away. They continued when they came home until his wife found out. This wife is also an attorney at their law firm. The wife waited for Ellie after work in the parking garage underneath their building. Ellie said it was a very unpleasant encounter. Karen asked what the wife said, and Ellie sighed and told Karen it wasn't so much what she said. Karen asked what happened. Ellie said Don's wife punched Ellie, knocking her down. If anybody deserves an ass whooping, it's Ellie. She got on top of Ellie, grabbed her hair in one hand, and punched her again. She pulled Ellie's head in her face and told her if she would offer if Ellie saw her husband again. Don's wife got off Ellie and kicked Ellie twice. Ellie said that it was the end of the affair with Don. Imagine that. Nobody's feeling bad for Ellie. There are dudes all over the world laughing right now. Karen asked why Don's wife didn't get Ellie fired. Ellie said they would have been fired if the managing partner had found out about the affair. The wife couldn't get Ellie fired without also getting her husband fired, but the wife made her point. That was almost a year ago. Normal work affairs. Too dangerous. You don't want to hook up with someone whose wife only has to walk down the hall to smack you in the head. Also, if his wife wanted to go after her husband, she could have gotten both Ellie and Don fired. Ellie was so bruised and sore she had to take time off work. Ellie told me she tripped down the stairs at work and fell. Ellie told Karen that I wanted to stay home to take care of her. Ellie said, I am a really wonderful husband. So guys, on camera, his wife Ellie has admitted to having an affair with a coworker. And by names. And now there's video evidence that she broke her company law firm rules. And guess who has access to the information? He says here, thank you, camera. When I asked Ellie if she slept with anyone I knew, she made a point of saying that she never slept with a coworker. The firm she works for doesn't allow coworker affairs, especially if employees are married. Ellie had tried to throw me off the scent. I called my attorney and said we had to meet. And that is the end of part 5. And I'll be doing the final video, part 6, wrapping this up in about 2 hours after 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys all check it out, because now our man here has got what he has, the leverage, to get her the fuck out of his house and start the divorce process. So good for him for having the cameras. So guys, stay tuned, and don't scream at me too much in the comment sections. I have to split this up. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll see you tonight.